Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 9 o'clock update tonight, day number 281. And tonight is a special edition of our update. We do have Zhenya with us tonight. Already tomorrow there, of course, but 9 p.m. here on the East Coast in the United States, 4 a.m. there in Ukraine. Mission was successful and the mission grew. So we're going to be talking to him tonight. I'm not going to waste any time. Do not know how long he can hold the Wi-Fi there. You never know. But he is down south. He is at the home of one of our friends who is a very important guy in southern Ukraine. And we're thankful that Zhenya's there and able to get a little bit of rest. He ran for 2 days straight. We have him tonight. Thank you to the community. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for continuing to support. Thank you for being here. And not going to waste any more time. Welcome to you, bud.
Oh,
Welcome.
oh, hello. Hello from Ukraine.
Hello from Ukraine. We see the American flag and we see the Ukrainian flag. It's nice to see you alive, bud. So let's jump right to it because I don't want to miss you. You're there. And let's go for it. So Starlink was delivered.
Yes, in time and in the perfect time. It was basically almost like a pit stop. We catch their convoy on the way.
Oh, sweet. So there you are in the Zaporozhye region and delivering that. You made
Yes.
it in just the right time. And I can show people generalities without having any problem, but just in case you're wondering, this is where you started. You ended up down in here, and the Starlink was delivered. Then there was some adjustments, and it looks like, let me go to green, back somewhere in this region now.
Go to, until Nikolaev.
I'm there.
If you want to draw it, yes. Nikolaev, and then from Nikolaev we were going to that village, Teginka. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see it. So you had quite the day. I don't want to show, I gotta maintain your safety here, but right there. So very thankful that you made it. That's generalities. You're good. The Starlink was delivered. Were they happy about it?
Oh, not just Starlink. We've been able to help more, and as well, beside of Starlink, there were a big AQ battery for like a car AQ battery to bring new. They needed, so we transported it as well, and other stuff. So plus we got a good connection, and they requested the power bank exactly like this. And this is we bought it, what latest one, and so
beautiful.
that's good. Yeah.
Now, for some reason, I just noticed this, and I've got to fix it because I don't like it. Let me go back to this picture and stay there. I lost a layer on that stream for some reason. Had quite a day here, to be quite honest with you. It started with me falling out of the bed this morning. That's what happens when you turn 50. But I'm falling out of beds and you're running around Ukraine. So we're getting it done. So thankful, mission accomplished. Everything is good. You then came to the south. Anything special doing down there or more requests that have came in?
Yes, we got a special first couple things about our trip. We got a request time ago, like not big time, but time ago, that there is a place where people in the big need, and they need the food and so on. So like we were like questioning it, how bad is it? So finally we got there, and so for most of people we were helping, we were the first volunteers from Ukraine who were helping them after their territory have been deoccupied. So they were so happy to get it, and they were sharing it. They were calling because they don't have electricity, and it's cold. And beside of the food packs, they started to ask diapers for adult people and something warm clothes for the teenagers, for kids, and I was giving them my phone number or contact phone numbers of our ministry and our NGO, and it's already we started that process. It's really good.
Good.
We will be helping. And one more interesting fact, right? When we were leaving, it was dark time, and I did stop for a while, just for probably 2 minutes, and then I realized that picture. It was already dark time, but it was obvious to see that the occupied part of it was a left bank of the river. They had electricity, quite light. All the houses are you can see because we were about on the distance of about 3 kilometers.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, we're talking about Kherson area.
Yeah, it's Kherson area.
Okay. So you're saying the occupied territory on the left bank had power, but the Ukrainian side did not?
Yes, because they destroyed.
Yes. Well, did you hear any shelling?
Yeah, there were like artillery works all the time.
Okay, so I know you've been going all day. Probably, once again, we just were able to connect. So I haven't been talking to you at all today, hardly. You've been rolling, but that confirms. So today was very active as far as air raids. The whole nation, the alarms rather, was constantly under air alarm. The jets were running from Russia, but they did not attack again. In addition to that, the naval vessels with the cruise missiles were moving around the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov, but not the major strike. Once again, more of that reconnaissance most likely we're talking about. But what I want to get to is this right here. Today, Kherson was shelled, Ukrainian side, and you may or may not know this right now, and it came out just a couple of hours ago. They took out the power again, where we had flipped on the power a few days ago. We showed the video. They took out that station again. So you're there. You see it's dark, and we're confirming that as well. They were shelling also Chornobyevka.
Okay, yeah, we were going through Chernobyevka, just right through the village, and on the moment we were going, Kherson had a light, so it was light in Kherson. So probably it happened right on our way, right after we left Kherson and Chernobyevka area.
Well, once again, we do not want any of our nation shelled, but thankful that you were out. And yeah, it's the big news coming out right now, this Kherson, and we're talking about this bank of the river, just so people understand. Shelled again and out of power. So what you're referring to is you were seeing lights on this side of the river. Of course, that's controlled by the RF. And the other thing, just so people know, and I'll go in blue, you were coming out through Chornobyevka when you look back and saw no power. So that's basically the general area where he's at and what he's doing. And we're able to confirm it. That's the news that was coming out, that Kherson has lost power again. I want to jump back to the Engels Air Force Base tonight. They have increased the activity again. All the satellite reconnaissance coming in is showing more and more planes. In addition to that, I'm going to zoom in on a photo here, It's not just the Tupolev 160s, it's also the Tupolev 95s. And today, this is satellite imagery from today. You can see all the equipment pieces there loading. So whether it's intimidation, whether it's strategy, it's irrelevant. Have to pay attention to it. These major bombers are loaded and sitting there at Engels. It was the MiGs, the MiG-31s that were running in the air today to force the air raid. They were in Belarus and they were around the perimeters and in the controlled territory, but the Tupolevs did not get into the air. But that's what was happening with them today. So we'll see. It's imminent, just how and when. And I think our defense, every day they wait, our defense gets better. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. I want to thank you before we'll continue, because people were so thankful. I think you will see a video. I have it already with all these thanks from kids and from adults, and I said, and it was to all the people in Ukraine on our team, the people in Ukraine helping us to do and support us, and all the people from all the countries who support us. It and makes it possible to help. So thank you one more time. Thank you.
Awesome. In fact, I do have a video I was able to get out of a soldier saying thank you in great English. We had that one loaded up to play at the end of the update tonight, and maybe tomorrow you can get me some more of that video with the kids and all that stuff. That'll be awesome. We do have to look over tonight and update everyone on Bakhmut. There's good and bad news here. I've got both. Ukraine is doing a good job defending, but Russia is taking some of the city, a little bit on that eastern side. But that's not really what I want us to pay attention to tonight, although I've got a little video clip I'm going to share out of Bakhmut today. It's unbelievably awesome. But before we do that, if you see Bakhmut there, Jenka, look over. East of Bakhmut is Storopivka, and then east of that is Vladimirivka. Two villages over. Vladimirivka is a very long village there. It's on a hill. It's a flat hill where Vladimirivka is, and it overlooks, kind of pushing down into that Bakhmut area. It's not far, just a few kilometers. Well, satellite imagery came out today of a massive fortification of Vladimirivka, and actually Ukraine, on some of the information we get from some of the military guys, says we know it's military fortifications, but this one looks a little different. It's not like the dragon teeth, they call it, how Russia reinforces down in like Zaporozhye where you were, but this one's looking a little different. And I actually have some of the satellite images here. So if you look at all the digouts, all these little lines where the brown is, and then the white, this is all the fortification there at Vladimirivka. It's just going everywhere. They're really reinforcing this area, once again, proving they want to take that Bakhmut. And as we talked about yesterday, not just Bakhmut, but they want to push over and actually get Konstantinivka, because that's where the intersection of roads is. Right here is another aerial shot of it, and I highlighted all these bunker formations. It's like crazy. These are massive. There's concrete. It's a crazy fortification. So, you know, when we've been there on the front, and I'm sure today you've seen the fortifications, you've seen the lines, you've seen the digouts, but this one in Vladimirivka overlooking Bakhmut, pretty big. Have you heard about it, or do you know anything about it?
To be honest, not. The last, let's say, 24 hours, I was quite limited from one side with getting updated information, but from other side, and talking about Bakhmut, I would say this: I cannot post the signs, but I think during a couple days, and I'm sure it will be, we will hear the other news from Bakhmut.
Agreed. And I have a prophetic picture of Bakhmut tonight. Okay? A prophetic picture. There's no reason to translate it. It speaks for itself. But this is Bakhmut on the west side this morning. This morning.
Не, ну, герои в Бахмуте на каждом шагу.
The heroes of
Вверху
Bakhmut.
дымит где-то прилет метров за 200. Они мусор вывозят.
They're getting the trash up.
Рашка! Да вы сдохните, блин, от зависти. Вы, блин, тонете в своем дерьме, а тут под обстрелами чистоту наводят.
The point being is...
He says it's like there is not far the smokes after the shelling, and some arrivals of the missiles 200 meters from them, and these guys, I mean, don't care about that because they do care to clean up the Bakhmut. They non-stop working. It says some people can be jealous, for having this kind of workers.
It's awesome. The point being, that's Ukraine being bombed, shelled, and missiles, and they're doing their job, picking up the trash for those that are left in Bakhmut. So very, very happy and thankful for that one. Now, I want to move over here. Klitschko came out today. You probably haven't seen any of this yet. He said in case of additional damage to Kyiv infrastructure, residents of Kyiv may be left without heat until the spring. If there's no heating and water, and the point is this, if there's no heating and water for 24 hours at a temperature of -5 outside, you will need to drain the heating systems in Kyiv because this can lead to damage to life support systems. We will be forced to drain the water. And that means it will be very difficult to supply water until spring. And for the beginning of spring, there will be difficult challenges. So it's not that they can't get electricity on or do that, but if they're hit again hard, it's below -5, and they can't keep that water warm that's in those boiler systems. Klitschko's already warning we may have to drain it. So
otherwise all the system with the water inside, after it will get, freeze, then it will just explode and distort all the pipes and all the system without no possibility to restore in the short terms.
Well, no possibility to restore until we would get back above freezing, because it's why I'm saying the spring. We just started winter today. Well, it's December the 2nd where you're at, but December 1 there in Ukraine, they call that the beginning of winter. We'll see. We need to defend and we need to hold and need to kick the occupiers out because we do not need that to happen. We do not need those boilers offline. That would be no bueno. Now, with that said, a guy that I refer to quite a bit, Anton Gerashenko, I appreciate this guy. He is nonstop with information. He's out of the Office of Internal Affairs. He's spokesman for the Office of Internal Affairs for Ukraine, meaning what's going on inside of Ukraine. He's kind of like an official Arestovich, kind of. But his job is internal affairs, speaking about it, communicating to Ukrainians. And he put out a couple of minutes of clip. And he even tells Ukrainians in Kyiv, you know what? Don't feel guilty if you have to leave. We're going to win the war, but we can't have you freeze to death. So he talks about it. I've got it translated. I'll play that and then get your thoughts. Here you go.
Народа Украины последствия следующие. Это еще большее сплочение народа вокруг идеи победы над Россией, над путинским режимом. Это еще большее сплочение народа Украины вокруг президента Украины Владимира Зеленского. Самое тяжелое последствие, это, конечно же, для тех наших сограждан, которые имеют определенные ограничения по возрасту, которые остаются запертыми на высотных этажах своих домов, потому что не работают лифты. Это проблемы в работе больниц, это проблемы для тех людей, которым необходима обязательно работа каких-то электроприборов для поддержания их здоровья. Это проблема для энергетики нашей страны. Но самое важное, что весь мир понял, что Путин и его армия не в состоянии воевать с вооруженными силами Украины. Они воюют с трансформаторами, они воюют с женщинами, с детьми, со стариками. Еще последствия — это еще большее сплочение вокруг Украины наших союзников. Это их искреннее желание нам помогать. Иногда оно, к сожалению, запоздало, как это было с системами противовоздушной обороны, которые президент просил с первого же дня вторжения русских войск. Однако на сегодняшний момент мы видим, что оружие идет в Украину, что ставятся новые комплексы ПВО. Кстати говоря, благодаря установке вокруг Киева американских систем НАСАМС и АРСТ, фактически ракеты уже в центр Киева не долетают, их сбивают. Тоже будут постепенно сделаны вокруг других больших городов Украины. Хотя, будем говорить откровенно, что того количества комплексов ПВО, которые нам дали, недостаточно для прикрытия всей территории Украины. Будут ли еще ракетные удары Путина по территории Украины и по энергетической системе? Без сомнения будут. Сомневаться в этом нету никаких оснований. И надо четко понимать, что предстоит тяжелая зима, однако украинцы нашу волю к победе не сломать. Создаются условия для того, чтобы были пункты обогрева, где мы можем получить горячую еду, горячее питье. И, конечно же, абсолютно справедливо, что если у вас есть возможность выехать с территории Украины временно для того, чтобы не переживать эти катаклизмы, вы не задействованы в обороне страны, работая на предприятиях, необходимых для жизнеобеспечения, то это необходимо сделать.
So there you have Gerashenko. I think that was very concise, very accurate. Of course, it lines up with what we've been hearing from Kuleba, Zelensky, Klitschko, everybody else. It's tough. It's really tough on older people who are stuck on these top floors. The needs that they have. He talks about that. He then talks about being thankful for the air defense systems that have arrived. They're doing a great job. It's just a little late, and we need more. And the last part was, if you're not involved in the defense of Ukraine, don't feel guilty if you need to protect yourself and your family and find some heat. So a lot he said there in 2 minutes. What's your thoughts on Gerashenko's words?
I think it works. I think people he represents the government as well, and the official position, I believe. And in people listening that, it doesn't motivate people to live necessarily, but it makes people more free, probably, that it's just a normal thoughts about to live, normal thoughts about try to protect the life of kids and so on. Plus, it reminds about this how situation that we have is serious. And it's it's more than important. That's it.
Well, it was very concise and it was kind, honestly, the way he was saying it.
Yeah.
We've got to work together to win the war. So it was very good, good statements there. Now, I want to move on and show you a little bit of this. News came out over the last 24 hours that Raytheon, a defense contractor in the United States, received this contract. And they are contracted to build some new air defense units that are designed for Ukraine, including parts, everything. And I started watching the Ukrainian channels and everybody started going crazy about it. And they were so happy. But I think most of the people that are happy about it can't read English. Okay. Which you can. Why? So thankful for Raytheon. It's great. But here's the actual quote out of the news. Raytheon Company, Tewksbury, Massachusetts, awarded a $1.2 billion firm fixed contract procurement, National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System, associated equipment, services, spare parts in support of the efforts of Ukraine. Bids were solicited via the internet with one received. Works will be performed in Massachusetts with an estimated completion date of November 28th, 2025. Okay. So they didn't read all this or they couldn't. They just saw the headline where Raytheon's building air defense and sending them to Ukraine. Well, completion date of 2025. Well, there's your response.
I don't know how to comment that.
That's my point. So it sounds good, and we're thankful for it. But we don't need 2025. Yes. We need things that are in NATO right now pushed into Ukraine. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, yes, if somebody is dying, and how important the message, okay, man, I will not help you, survive. But if you will survive, we can dream about, going somewhere together. So I don't know how it works.
Well, honestly, it was really, really late last night, and I was up, and all of a sudden, a lot of my message boards started blowing up, and I saw the hearts and the loves going on and all this stuff, and I looked down, and it said, Raytheon building air systems for Ukraine, and everybody's rejoicing, but they can't read English, and they were posting the clips, and that's where I got it from, and I read it, and I go, okay, it's awesome. Thankful, but we can't wait for 2025. Excuse me, Russia. We're having defense systems built. You can start firing again in 2025. No, we need the stuff now. And that's kind of what Gerashenko said. We're just a little too late to the party. You should have sent us stuff day one when we asked. So, good news, but little goofy news. Now, if you want really goofy for tonight, you and I, over 281 days, have tried to share that we do not hate anybody. Okay. Mm-hmm. We're Christians, but we do despise this Soviet mentality, and anyone that would support this war against Ukraine, whether you're Russian, Hungarian, Iranian, Chinese, Indian, Ukrainian, American, French, doesn't matter. It's wrong, it's evil, and you need to be defeated and destroyed. We agree on all that. With that said, we have people that are Russian, I personally do, that are 100% in support of Ukraine. They're my friends, no problem. Have others that are not. That's the picture. But through these 281 days, we've tried to help the world understand Soviet mentality. I've got a great clip tonight to display Soviet mentality. Want to get your thoughts in response to it. I'm sure you haven't seen this yet. This is a lady who is a State Duma member in Moscow. Basically, she's like a senator for you Americans, a House of Parliament member for other nations where you have parliaments. Here she is. Get ready to see some Soviet mentality.
Но у нас такая демократия и такая толерантность в России, что я думаю, пора с ней заканчивать.
Лена Григорьевна, а что вы отвечаете тем людям, которые обвиняют Россию в нападении?
Эти люди воспринимают Украину как другую страну, нам чуждую, понимаешь? Вот как если бы мы напали на Францию. А Украина – это часть наша. Там русские ребята, русские люди. Причем не только в Донбассе. Они по всей Украине. И Одесса – русский город. И Харьков – русский город, понимаете? И для меня, для моего поколения это вообще не вопрос. Это часть истории, это часть моей страны. Для нового поколения, наверное, как бы вот эта граница существует, а для нас ее нет. И я понимаю Путина, который до последнего тянул, чтобы не начинать эту операцию. И я понимаю, что, наверное, и он не рассчитывал на такую долгую специальную операцию. Все же думали, что это будет полицейская операция. Никто же не думал, что весь мир, 50 стран, вот эти, Европа, там, от Австралии до Америки, Канады, начнет посылать тяжелое вооружение. Это было для нас неприятной неожиданностью.
There you have it. That's the mentality. Yeah. It's our nation. It's our cities. It's our people. That is the mentality that hopefully that clip from that Duma member will share. Go ahead.
I want to amplify a little bit the message and make it a little bit more wide, because exactly this one person, by some reason, show just a part of the position. Why? Because she makes a statement. The Odessa is a Russian city, and the Kyiv is a Russian city, and Kharkiv is a Russian city. But there is a lot of videos which says a little bit more. This line a little bit more, be much bigger, like. Berlin is a Russian city, and Washington is a Russian city. What the question? What does it makes it Russian city? It's simple. Please understand. It's simple. When there is a people from Russia and they talk Russian, and they, at least some of them, saying, "Okay, this is we are here, and we believe that much more Russian culture should be here." It starts to make it a Russian city. So it's not just a Soviet mentality. It's just, I would say, it's Soviet modified mentality into Russian mind, because this is it's nonsense. It's like there is. I mean, it's just craziness that your neighbor's country. I mean, like, okay, if you like, let's take Germany, and then by some reason, French people, I mean, the French politics are doing statements. Okay, by the way, Dortmund, it's a French place. It's not just French. It's our place, our French place. And yes, why you think people that, for example, Germany is just a little bit other country? No, it's our country. French says, for example. But okay, why in Europe it's not possible to imagine, and we have international law, and now Russia does its statements. Why still there is a Russian, sorry, embassies in other country? If these people are doing, we ignore all international laws, all the borders, all the agreements and memorandums. For us, it's important. We claim it. That after that, it's ours.
It's also interesting, just listen to her. So you're saying it's Soviet mentality that is morphed into the new Russian mentality led by Vladimir Putin and those mad leaders there in the Kremlin. It is overflowing into other generations as well. We see it all the time. But she made the statement, Ukraine's not like France. That's another nation. Ukraine's ours. That's crazy.
Yes. And it means that she wants for the world and the listeners heard the meaning like that. Don't get involved in this. Mm-hmm. Be out. It's our territory, our local inside Russia conflict. And please, I mean, why we don't understand this craziness where people are helping Ukrainians to survive as a country and nation.
It's an internal issue. Why is America and Canada and Europe helping?
Why American cares that some nation should be survived?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because Russia said it's ours. That means it's finished. No, it's not finished. And I believe with every one of these statements, the world need to share it and answer the proper way. Against of international law, disrespectful to the position of sovereignty of any countries, not just Ukraine. Currently, you did mention Ukraine, but the way of thinking and this kind of the nature of your country, the nature of your politic is aggressors politic, and it's absolutely not accepted. If you want to have a diplomatic, healthy relationship, you have to fix it, because, for example, our nation, and it should be the normal nation, says our nation does not accept at all any of this position. If it's official Russian position, what kind of diplomacy you want to have? In our country, what? your representatives
Let me ask you a
protecting
question.
people with that kind of. Okay, sorry.
No, you're great. Let me ask you a question. With her position as a Duma member there, with her suit on, her pin on, trusting Vladimir Putin, that's an official statement from Russia. She's a Duma member. Correct? It'd be like our senator. It'd be like Nancy Pelosi saying it. That's giving an official position.
Plus, you have to read between the lines.
Nancy Pelosi's not a senator.
All the history of not just Ukrainian relationship with Ukraine. Think if you like not inspect, if you get a little bit more deep in how Russia were describing the conflicts between Azerbaijan and Armenia, how Russia described their attack and destroying Abkhazia, how Russia describing all people which are not from Russia on official channels. I mean, that they said, okay, we need to respect them. No, they telling easy. One of the most popular shows were one of comedians and a lot of years whose famous subject of the jokes were about, do you know, the foreigners are stupid. The foreigners are stupid. And yes, at this moment, for no, let's say average Russian can think like that. Yes, foreigners are stupid. Yes, they have technology. They doing much better in medicine area, the space area, military area, and so on. Like almost everything area. But they're dumb. And we're smart because we over nation. We are empire, and we have no limits. That's it. It will continue. And yes, the rights of Russians should be regulated by international laws and not Russian fantasies.
Correct. Well, that's where we're heading to. We're going to head to a world where Russia's defeated, and these seats at the table and the voices that they have, whether it's G7, UN, Security Council, it's going to be gone, and it needs to be gone. That's what's going to happen, I believe.
Yes.
Let's go here. Close out the night. I know you're exhausted, dude. You've been up for 48 hours. A big thank you. Thank you to who? Thank you to everybody. This is from a soldier. He's got his face covered up there, not just for the cold, but not to reveal his identity. But we, meaning you, us, through Zhenya and our team, we've delivered supplies to this unit, and they sent out a big thank you. Want to share that as we close out this update tonight.
Hi guys, I'm one of the members of the Armed Force of Ukraine, and some time ago we received some amount of energy bars and canned meat from you, and I'm here to say great thank you to you and all the people that took the part in assisting of our military forces. For us, it's a great deal, and your support makes our fight with the enemy much easier. All the help that you provide us, such as food supplies, tactical clothes, medicines, generators, camouflage nets, gives us a great advantage in battle. Thank you from the name of the whole platoon. See you.
Love it. Great English, man. I'd like to know what he does when there's not a war. He's probably some high-tech guy, sharp dude. I don't, you know?
I don't know him.
I don't. Yeah, personally.
Yes, but yeah.
It was a great thank you message. Great thank you message.
Yeah.
So everyone, that's our word tonight. Thank you. Zhenya, it's nice to have you tonight, bud. Safe travels.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll go to one more place to fulfill our promises before, and if everything will be fine, we will share it later, the story with you.
We're gonna get an update on tomorrow at some point. Awesome.
Yes.
And we can look forward to the video from the kids coming that said thank you on our deliveries.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, my man. Hey, tell my buddy there good night.
I will.
And tell him I will see him in January.
Okay.
All right, my friend.
Okay.
Right.
Thank
a good
you.
night to all.
To all, a good night.